Slide it.
Is that enough?
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Nice. Okay, so then it's just us talking. You don't have to worry about looking at the cameras.
Yeah. How about don't even tell me when it turns on?
How do you tell people what your work is? How do you describe your job?
Oh, I hope you have a lot of time. It gets confusing. How do I tell people about my job? I tell people that I'm a crisis worker, just to summarize for people that don't really know why. But in reality, I'm just a social worker that has adapted community organizing to my practice. So when you're a social worker, like if you're applying for any social work job, you're probably going to be asked the question about self-care, like what do you do for self-care? Man, when I have a really hard, stressful day and I'm dealing with angry cops and the client that I'm really trying to help is like yelling at me and I'm just like this, then I go to the gym. And when I have someone like on my back and he's trying his best, I am not thinking about that cranky cop or it's just like the whole world tunes out and I could just focus on this one thing. You want to be surprising, you don't want to be predictable, but you still want to make the best possible move. So like kind of like life is like that. So I'm homeless. Okay, I have these resources, I have these opportunities. What's the best move? This is my situation. And a lot of times the best move is not orthodox. I was born bilateral club-footed. The doctors questioned whether I walk normally. Not only did I start walking normally, but I really like watching Bruce Lee. So right as I was learning how to walk, I joined a martial arts school. I was the New York State champion for Taekwondo. I got a gold medal from the US Cup. I tried out for the 1992 Olympics and actually almost made the team. And I was homeless when that happened. I came from a domestic violence household. It was like, I'm in the house, I come home, then he throws me back out the house. So it was like a back and forth, and eventually I just left. In my mind, I didn't think of myself as homeless. I wasn't being treated like I was homeless. People didn't look at me when I walked down the street like I was homeless. It wasn't until I hit my older teens I started growing facial hair. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, what did you do? And then all of a sudden people are looking at me like I'm gonna steal from them or something. And it was just like, I don't know, I think that's when the identity thing started sinking in. Because when you become homeless, you lose the status of student, or you lose the status of being like that baseball teammate or the church member. And next thing you know, people start to just associate you with homelessness and you're stuck with that identity. I was homeless for a long time, but I didn't know what it felt like to be homeless until other people started looking at me with those eyes. And I can't explain that look, but every homeless person knows how people look at them. The West Coast, one of the first things I did was I found a youth center and, just a place to play chess. But I started teaching a lot of chess and it kind of turned into a thing. I made friends with some of the counselors, the staff there. But they offered me a job. I took the job and I became a youth counselor. Months later, my supervisor started questioning my notes because I could barely write. So she pulled me aside, we had a long talk. That's when she kind of really learned my situation. She understood that all my schooling was between 3rd grade and 7th grade, and that's it. And she told me that, look, on your resume, you said you went to college, so either you tell me you're starting college now, or you need to leave. And I started college. Not only did I start college, but I went and got my master's. My life is going really good right now, and I have a lot to be thankful for. I've been working in Seattle as a social worker for over 20 years now, so I've been working a lot of different agencies. 2019, I started working at ETS. It was the first time that I can sit with an executive director that I was working with, and I can speak to them unfiltered, and I felt like we had the similar values. They wanted to know how to make the community better. As a social worker, I'm trained to walk around, I meet an unhoused person, and then I try to figure out what needs they have, and I try to match those needs. In my mind, I'm like, what if I just did that to the whole community? That church has needs. That 7-Eleven has needs. Once you start meeting their needs, then when you start talking to them about the unhoused person outside, and then, hey, this is a better way to interact with this person, people are way more apt to listening to me. The city wanted to put a tiny house village in the university district, and the businesses did not want that. They were afraid that it would attract more unhoused people. Because they're calling me and they want the people out of the alley. So once I started explaining, look, if you want this person out of your alley, I need a place to put them. So once I explain how a tiny house village will benefit them, how it will literally make your front door cleaner, all of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe we do need a tiny house village. I just think it's easier for everyone when it's not just thinking this one social worker is going to solve the community problems. No, the community needs to solve the community problems. But we're not doing normal outreach anymore. We're not just working with the individual, we're working with the individual and the community. And we're producing much better results that way.